Okay, you've probably seen the article by now, the one that was published by Vogue recently that says we're now at the point where it feels sort of embarrassing to admit when you have a boyfriend. It explains this in a few different ways. The main gist being that it no longer necessarily feels like something that's admirable or something that is an achievement or something to be proud of. And I've seen so many amazing posts show up in my feed. Most of the posts talking about this article have been from men. And when I see them pop up, I kind of cringe a little because I'm waiting for the attack. But what I've been so surprised about is that these men who have been talking about this article are like, guys, are we surprised? We've seen this coming for a while now. We have not been keeping pace with the growth and the evolution of our female counterparts. I have to say that it is so healing and beautiful to hear these gorgeous male souls talk about this from that angle. It's surprising, but really amazing. I wanted to hop on and talk about this a little bit from a spiritual perspective, because I think there's been a lot going on behind the scenes for quite a while now that from a spiritual perspective, explain what's happening here. So I want to ask the guys, when was the last time you went to work out with your girl? Because if your girl's like so many of us, she's not just working out to build a booty. Have you been to a SoulCycle class lately? Have you been to a yoga class lately? So many of the things that women do are really down low, them doing their spiritual work. You go to a SoulCycle class and it is a workout, but it's also a work in. There's a lot of mindset work happening. There's a lot of self-reflection really built in. Relatedly, ask your girl if she feels comfortable sharing with you something that she wrote in her journal lately. She's probably not just venting about her day in there. She is alchemizing pain and she is scripting her future. The feminine, whether they've been actively intending to or not, has been for a long time weaving in spiritual growth, spiritual transformation into her day-to-day in many different ways. And many are actually very intentional about that, which really takes it to the next level. She likely has not shared this with you. This has likely been something that she has down low been doing on her own, maybe talking about it with some friends, but for the most part, this has been an intimate process that's been happening on the inside, and that I would say is actually the result of the feminine responding to a spiritual call that really started to be emitted years ago. And by a spiritual call, what I mean is that many feminines, whether they know it or not, have been doing these things because they've been prompted to by spirit in preparation for the era that humanity is entering into. The era that we're entering into, the age of Aquarius, requires, will demand feminine energy for purposes of necessary transformation on a global scale. Feminine energy is uniquely well suited to alchemy and to spiritual transformation because it is receptive energy and because it is the energy that is divinely intertwined with the Holy Spirit. It is this soft intuition. It is this deep knowing without really having any reason to know. Your feminine counterpart has been tapping into this call and has been aligning herself accordingly in the direction of inner healing to be ready to hold the energy that's needed in the years ahead. So your feminine counterpart has been healing her father wound. She has been balancing her inner masculine and inner feminine, healing those wounds that give rise to her being attracted to the wrong kind of men to begin with. She's likely been surrendering to spirit and feeling very held, contained, and safe in that space. And if she hasn't, she's learning how to. All of that means that what she needs from you, divine masculine, is something different than what she needed in the past. And there's room for all kinds of partnerships when it comes to this. If the feminines that you tend to be attracted to tend to have really goal-getter energy, then what she requires of you is support of that aspect of her. For you not to feel intimidated by that aspect of her, but to actually celebrate it and to hold that energy with her and to support her in the ways that complement that. Be her safe place, be her landing spot, be the place that she can retreat to and refuel. If you're feminine, or the feminines that you tend to be attracted to, tend to hold more divine feminine energy in their body, that means they're working a lot in the 5D, holding energies and alchemizing and doing work that you won't be able to see with your physical eyes. So you holding down the 3D is a perfect complement to her. You stepping up in the day-to-day tasks allows her to not deplete herself in the 3D so that she can continue doing that work in the 5D. In other words, this is not an era of feminine energy not needing the masculine. Instead, it's an era where we're being asked to revision the partnership. And men, I think you know this. I actually think that many of you have been in a bit of a retreat mode, stepping back and holding back your energy in observation of changes that are happening in order to get a handle on all of it. I see you and I feel you internally trying to make shifts that do allow for a rebalancing. And I applaud that. These are shifts that are not going to happen overnight. But understand that the rebalancing that's happening between the masculine and the feminine is also happening in the broadest sense as well. Historically, as societies, we've been more anchored in masculine energy. And energy, no matter how big or small of a scale we're talking about, wants to be balanced. That is what alchemy is about. There's no stopping that natural rebalancing that has to happen energetically. So because historically the scales have been tipped in the direction of the masculine for so long, energetically speaking, it's only inevitable that we be shifting into the feminine. Trying to fight that shift is only going to make all parties miserable. So I want to encourage both the divine feminine and divine masculine in all of us to have patience, to understand that we are in a period of holy and sacred transformation, and that is necessarily a process. It's supposed to be. It's an unfolding. But it's one that will require our awareness, our attunement, and our ability to talk about these things without attacking each other, with a lot of grace and compassion and understanding. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.